take a quick look at your screen right here, and I want to show you inside there, the battery, that's how you're gonna turn it on and get it started. That is a 10-year battery. I want you to think about not having to worry about that for 10 years. You are getting that 3M tape. These are sleek and modern, inconspicuous. You can kind of put these anywhere you want. Is this something you worry about? Bring out that space heater. Maybe it's catching fire on the curtains. You put it up on the wall, in the bedroom, in the hallway, by the kids' room. You need to have multiples in your home. A fire can start anywhere. The kitchen, the heating elements. Maybe it's the dryer you have in the utility room. Maybe you realize during the holidays you were plugging in a lot of lights and you got a little concerned. So let me ask you this. I just want you to do like a little mental check right now. I want you to think about the smoke detectors you have in your home, right? When were they installed? How old are they? Have you checked the battery? What's the technology that they have? It's okay if you can't answer some of those questions. Most of us can't because those smoke detectors were there when we moved into the house. Well, this is your opportunity to not only be prepared, but be prepared with the latest technology. This is from Samurai, and it is a 3-pack. They are sleek, they are easy to install, and it has everything you need to be protected and have that peace of mind. I know here on HSN we talk about a lot of fun items. This is an item that you must have. At some point, we have to replace our smoke detectors. I want to see on the screen here, I want to show you something. Since 2020, 500,000 Samurai home and safety products have been sold. It is a brand that we trust. Representing that brand today, our special guest. He's actually our longest tenured electronics and tech guest.
Wow,
hey, yes, sir. Welcome in. Welcome in. This is Joe Harrison. He's known as our electronics and your tech expert, also home and safety expert, representing Samurai today. And Joe, if I can just say, we were talking before we went on camera. We're both dads. We're talking about our kids and our family, having time with them. One of the easiest things we can do, and maybe most important things we can do, is make sure we're protected in our home with smoke detectors.
Absolutely, because you said it perfectly. If you don't know when that smoke detector was installed, if this is what your smoke detector looks like, and when it's brand new out of the box, man, it is white and crisp, but for a lot of us, it starts to look yellow, and it starts to look dated, and you're thinking, that's still good. Let me keep throwing batteries in there. The U.S. Fire Administration says we need to replace these every 10 years because the sensors in here go bad. So you have options. You go to the store, you got to replace them with the exact same one. And the technology in here, it's designed in the 70s. And here's that FEMA quote: smoke alarm should be replaced 10 years from when you get it. That's the problem not a lot of people realize because they start to lose that efficiency. So what are your options? Let's replace it again with the exact same model. If your model looks like this, the technology in here was designed back in the 70s, or you can get Samurai today. When you see that, it's smaller. It looks different because it 100% is different. It uses a new type of sensor that wasn't designed in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, designed within the last 8 years. It's called a photoelectric sensor. Now, why is it a big deal? This one, if you take a hot shower, the alarm will go off. This one, if you take a hot shower, it knows that that's steam from a shower, but when smoke happens, you hear that loud 85 decibel alarm, and this is why you're getting this today, so it goes off. You hear the alarm. You can safely get you and everybody else in that house out right away. But the other problem is, when these first came out, when this first 1970 design first came out, it was code that you have one of these throughout the entire house. And this is the scary part. How many smoke detectors do you have in your home? We don't have enough. And going back to what FEMA says is that we should have a smoke detector in every bedroom of our house. Can you say you have that? If you don't, you need to pick this up today. That's why we made it a 3-pack so it fits so many rooms in your house. They also said in the hallways outside every major living space, outside of the bedrooms, outside of the kitchen, and also in those living spaces. So if you're sitting down now watching TV and you can't see your smoke detector, your house isn't up to code. Your house isn't safe enough. And why did it change from 1970 to today? Think about how many things we have in our house that we plug in. How many electronics are constantly plugged in? How hot sometimes those power bricks get? You know, how many things that we're constantly plugging in and creating a potential hazard? You need to make sure you and your house is protected. And with this one from Samurai, you know, you have two choices. Do you buy old technology? But to me, Ty, I want to buy the latest technology to protect me and my family.
I want you to think about this for 10 years, right? This is a 10-year battery, and maybe 2034 before you have to think about this again. 2034 before you think about in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. that big D battery that you're constantly buying and replacing that you have to get up in the middle of the night and replace because it's beeping. This is a 10-year battery. This is the latest technology. And Joe mentioned all the things that we're plugging into our home, and that's not slowing down, right? Tech is not slowing down. We're bringing more and more things. We're putting in more plugs. We're bringing more electricity. And sometimes we don't know what's behind those walls, particularly if we're in an older home. We don't know what the wiring is behind those walls, whether it's in the kitchen, in the utility room. It can happen at any moment. And again, I stress to you, this is something we all have to do at some point. This is not a, well, maybe I would like that. No, we all have to replace our smoke detectors. It's something we all have to do. So what we've done for you today, on a Today Special, we've put together a pack of 3. Now, I do want to point out, if you do want to just pick up one, at hsn.com right now, one is $29.99, right? These go for about $30. Take a look right here, $29.99 for just one. Or you can pick up 3 for $49.99. As Joe was mentioning, one doesn't cover it, right? You need one in the hallway. You need one to protect the kids. Maybe if you have an upstairs, you need a couple more for upstairs or downstairs, right? Is it mom's home, dad's home? Maybe they haven't checked in a while. You're going to pick it up for them. You're going to go over. The installation is easy. We give you everything you need. Right now is your opportunity. The item number's on your screen, 855-945. I know sometimes when we talk about this, it's not sexy, it's not fun, but it's a must-have, and you must have this in your home right now. Joe, I said earlier, I always say, make sure you get it before you need it, but I always say, when is the best time to get prepared? It's right now.
Absolutely right now, because we will have these back, and they'll be more expensive.
Yep.
This is our very first Today Special from Samurai, and they created a bundle we've never had before, because we sell that single one all the time for $29. And if you're thinking, I hate replacing the batteries on this, I don't want to install something else, let me show you how simple it is to install. So when you get it, it comes in a small little box, and all you have to do is you separate the base from the unit, and there'll be a little plastic tab on there. You pull that plastic tab, that's it. That starts day one. We even have an install date on there, so you can write when you installed it, because it's 2024 today, but you will forget through the years when you exactly bought them. That'll be a good reminder for you. Now, next, we have to attach this base to the wall. We give you a couple different options. We give you, if you have a screwdriver, we give you the screws. If you don't have a screwdriver, we also give you 3M adhesive tape. And when you pick up something from Samurai, it's all about the quality. Even the adhesive that we include on here, it's a special model designed specifically to handle high temperatures. And once you stick that to the wall, it will be there for the next 10 years. Special adhesive right there. When you attach this, you just need to hold this up against the wall for 30 seconds, and it will be there. There are many around here, around the HSN studio, that we have not taken off over the years, because they will take the drywall off. It is super strong, super durable, but you want that to be there. You don't want it to accidentally fall off. Now, the other thing about the install is you have to make sure that it is 12 inches from the ceiling. That's the important part. Don't put it down low. Don't put it on a shelf. 12 inches from the ceiling. And you're seeing, as we stick it to the back here, the adhesive, this is how simple it is. You do this one time. You're not going up and down that ladder every 6 months. You're not going back a year from now. That ladder, you can put that ladder away, because this smoke detector will be there. So when the smoke happens, you hear that alarm on the wall, on the ceiling, 12 inches from the highest point, and that's where you have that protection. The next thing you have to do, unlike a traditional smoke detector, they tell you to replace the batteries every 6 months. This one has a 10-year battery. So when there is smoke coming from the house, what do you hear? You hear that. You get that true alert.
Wow.
You hear how loud that is. That 85 decibel alarm. So if there is smoke coming from the back of the house, there's smoke coming from the basement, if there's smoke from the attic or from another bedroom, you want it to wake you up. But notice that loud alarm. It's not just a flat alarm. It's actually a swooping sound where it swoops up, because it starts low and goes high, because all of us here at different levels hear the sound differently. So we want to wake you up from that deep sleep. But that 85 decibel alarm will be able to heard throughout the entire house. So all you have to do is mount this. Then every 6 months, that's that little button I'm pushing right there. That's the test cycle. So you know how loud it is. It's going to cycle through its testing. Even if you never do that, you don't have to worry about it. You do have that 10-year battery that is built onto it. It's a special battery designed for 10 years. So for me, when I think about this, Ty, is that it's all the important things that are in my house. You know, it's the convenience of getting the latest technology, but not having to touch it again for 10 years. It truly is like the ultimate when it comes to peace of mind.
Well, you mentioned that alarm waking you up. It's frightening to think that these things can happen in the middle of the night. You're sleeping and a wiring in the walls in the kids' room starts, right? And you're sound asleep. That's why that decibel is so loud. That's why it's designed that way to wake you up. It can happen anywhere at any time. What's most important is you and your family to get up, get out of the house. These things can happen. Mostly right now, we're thinking about it a lot in the winter time. How often do we see on the news that there was a fire, that something happened at home and the smoke detector didn't work? The smoke detector was old and didn't work and didn't have the latest technology. Right now, when you get these home, you're going to install them within minutes. You're going to put them on the wall. You're getting multiple, so one in the hallway, one in the living area, maybe one back by where the kids are, and you have peace of mind and you are covered for 10 years. Again, and not the hassle of the battery dying, and in 6 months you're getting up on the ladder and having to replace it. And now you know, in the next 10 years, when someone asks you the questions I asked you at the beginning of this presentation, they say, well, when was the last time your smoke detectors were installed? What's the technology? What's the battery life? You're going to be able to answer all of those. Here is your opportunity. It's $49.99 for 3 of them. These normally go for about $30 each with all the technology and with this latest design. But right now, on a Today's Special, you are getting all 3 of these, $49.99. And that sleek design really means it kind of blends in anywhere you want it. If you're looking up right now and you've got that big old design and it's kind of turning yellow a little bit, it's kind of a bit of an eyesore. I want to show you here in the studio. We've had them here in the studio for years now. You may have never even noticed, right, Joe?
You're exactly right. It's kind of like a little hidden Easter egg. You'll see these throughout because this one has been here a little over a year. It's just been sitting in the background. Nobody notices it because it just blends in. So as you're watching the jewelry, the fashion, every show that's on here, watch out for that smoke detector. But we have it here because this is the entryway. This is the major hallway that leads to our living space. When you think about smoke detectors, how many do you need? Well, truthfully, you can never have enough. But the coded places are every major living space, every hallway that leads to the major living space. So as I'm coming from the hallway now to the living room, I should have one in that hallway. I should also have one in the living room. When you think about this is where we gather. This is where the family comes together. Maybe this is where you're helping your kids do homework, or sometimes you sit down here just to relax and read a book. Need to have a smoke detector here. The other one that you'll see that's kind of hidden here is we've had one here hanging on the side of the wall in our TV room. So we have another one mounted here, again, 12 inches from the ceiling. We're using that adhesive tape. This will be here for the next decade until the sets team decides we're going to redesign the studio. That will be there. But we have it here in the TV room because this is another place that we hang out. It's another place that's code for 2024. They determined that there's so much stuff, so much activity here, you need to have a smoke detector in that room. So it's not like, oh, I would love to have one in that room. You should have one in the bedroom. You should have one in the living spaces. You should have one in the hallway that leads here. The only other thing as I head over to Ty in the kitchen area is you don't need to have one in the kitchen, but Ty, you have to have one in the hallway leading to the kitchen. Because if you have a little bit of smoke, maybe you burned a little toast, no problem, that's okay. You don't want the alarm constantly going off, but every hallway leading to the kitchen, you absolutely need to get that. But the other thing, as you notice, because it's that 10-year battery, we talked about how it'll stay there for you. As you're installing these, I also recommend you pick up the carbon monoxide detectors.
That's great. Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, we've got a special deal on those too. So the code for that is you need to have a carbon monoxide detector every 750 square feet or every level of your home. So we have a special offer on a 2-pack. But why do you want carbon monoxide? Well, you can't taste it, you can't see it, you can't smell it. They call it the silent killer because you start to inhale this, you don't realize it. The most common symptom is that you feel like you have the flu. You go to bed, and then some bad things happen. People don't wake up. It's a horrible story, but carbon monoxide is more and more prevalent because anything that creates heat, anything that burns, your AC units, your air conditioning units, your
that's a lot right now.
Space heaters, exactly, and especially the fires. If you have a fire in your house, Yeah, it's beautiful, but it's also creating carbon monoxide. And this time of the year, we are closing down our house to try to trap that air. You're also trapping down carbon monoxide. This is an easy way to protect yourself.
You can see it on your screen right there, $57.99. That is for 2 of those, and that is something that we don't think about. And right now, this hour is about being prepared, and you're thinking about the smoke detector. Let's go ahead and get everything right now.
For sure.
Let's get it home now. We are far more limited in the carbon monoxide detectors than we are our smoke detectors here. So I want you to jump on that and make sure you're getting that. And just staying protected, keeping your home protected, you and your family, and that peace of mind. If you're just joining us right now for the first time, I said it at the beginning of the presentation, and I'll ask you again. I want you to take a look at your smoke detectors. Matter of fact, do you even know where they are? Do you know when they were installed, what the technology is? How good is the battery? Are they even working? And it's okay if you can't answer those questions. You know, a lot of us can't, right? There were a lot of us, we moved into a new house, we didn't know. Well, we're giving you the opportunity right now to reset, to start over with the latest technology with a 10-year battery that is super easy to install from Samurai, one of our leading home and safety brands here at HSN. Here is the 3, and we're gonna show you right here on your screen just how easy it is. You can see on your screen, is that over 8,000 that I see on my screen here? These are going very fast today here at the beginning of the year. Joe, we see how easy the installation is.
It's super easy. Key here is make sure you're 12 inches from the highest point in that room. Mount it to the wall, mount to the ceiling as long as it's 12 inches. Now, when there's smoke, when there's fire, it detects that, and that's what you hear. 85 decibel alarm is gonna go off, and it's gonna be there. As soon as you mount it to the ceiling of the wall, that special 3M adhesive tape will make sure it's there for 10 years. Not only are you just mounting it for 10 years, the battery in here is a specially designed 10-year battery. Even before HSN would let this become a Today Special, they just had to test the battery, recertify it once again to make sure that battery is gonna last beyond 10 years. Now, why do we say 10 years? Because what happens is there's a sensor that's on here, and as fantastic as this is, you need to replace this every 10 years. That sensor starts to analyze the air, collects the dirt, the dander, the debris, and that's why if you have one of these old guys, they don't work after 10 years anymore. Now for me, my scary story was, I was new here to HSN, I was new to Florida, I flew down here, and my wife is up in, she's about 25 minutes away from us. She calls me, she's like, I smell something that's burning in the house. And she calls 911 while I'm on the phone with her, and the police, the fire department shows up. They found that there was a wire in our wall that was, the plastic was melting, and it was starting to smoke. My wife could smell that, but our smoke detector 15 feet away, it did not. And the reason why is the house we bought was 25 years old. It still had the original smoke detectors. So what I was doing is I was going to the store and just kept putting batteries. I'm like, this is the right thing to do. But I was putting it into a smoke detector that wasn't working because it was beyond the 10-year mark. It lost its efficiency. So with this, even though you're gonna get this today, you need to replace this in the year 2034. But the thing is, you don't have to go out every 6 months and buy the batteries. You don't have to go up and down the ladder every 6 months to put the batteries in there. You don't have to go back to the store every 6 months and get new batteries. And if you did, if you had 3 of these smoke detectors, just like we're giving you a 3-pack today, this is what 10 years worth of batteries for 3 smoke detectors would look like. Joe, it is a massive amount. And this
it's also very expensive.
It's very expensive. $97 worth of batteries on here. And again, this is $97 in 2024 prices. Batteries are just going to keep getting more expensive. And by the way, I'm adding that tie to 1970s technology. So it's not that I'm really getting any benefit out of it. This is old, outdated technology. And this is the problem we run into when we go to the store. You see a lot of these, you're like, I know I need to get a new smoke detector. They're all this. If you have this design, you know you have 50-year-old technology. If you have the small ones, the more expensive ones, you're like, do I really need that? But this is the latest generation.
2024 technology. I just want to point something out. We're talking about $49.99. We're talking about $50. 3 of these will last you for 10 years. $50 for 10 years, right? We're talking about $5 a year, basically, to be protected. That's what it's costing you, to be protected in your home, to have that peace of mind. It can happen at any time, anywhere. The best time to be prepared is right now. Again, I know sometimes we talk about fashion and jewelry, and Valerie was just on with a great jewelry hour, and it was fun and it was sexy, but this is a must-have. This is, at some point, you're gonna replace those smoke detectors, and I hope you do it before it's too late. I hope you do it before something happens, before we find out later that smoke detector wasn't working. So if you're gonna do it anyways, let's do it right now. Let's do it in a 3-pack. Let's do it with Samurai on a today's special price. I want you to take advantage of the flexible payments. We are ready to ship these out to you here at the beginning of 2024. I know we have a lot of things on our list that we're checking off, like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get more organized. How about upgrading and making sure your home is protected with something as simple as a smoke detector that is easy to install? Get them home now. Maybe you want to add in those carbon monoxide detectors as well. You can grab those. We are very limited on those. Those are a 2-pack. So what you're seeing on your screen is your item number, 855-945. That is your item number to go pick yours up today. Those are the carbon monoxide. That is the 2-pack for the carbon monoxide. You're seeing it on the side of your screen. $57.99 here. It is an easy way. We were talking to Joe earlier about, we're always talking about our families and about, going on vacation and doing fun stuff with the kids. But I got to say, one of the things that I just feel great about being a dad is making sure we're protected, making sure I'm thinking ahead, making sure I'm prepared for my family. And this is one of those days.
Well, it doesn't matter what city you live in, what state you live in, what time of the year. There are fires every single day.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to cause it. Could be the toaster, could be the space heater, could be the fire that got out of fire from the fireplace. You just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But you want to make sure that when you hear that loud 85 decibel alarm, you know what that is. You know what that means. That I got to get the heck out of here. You grab what's important to you. You grab you grab the kids, you grab the pets. You know it's got to get out of here. But why this smoke detector versus another one? This is that latest generation that has that new photoelectric sensor. It's a smarter smoke detector, so you don't get those false alarms. A lot of times you take a hot shower, the smoke detector goes off. What do? You take a towel, you blow it, because you know that it's just a false alarm. And then you start hearing these false alarms like, it's just a smoke detector going off. When this goes off, you know there's something really wrong. We got to get out of here, got to address this situation. But we went from one room to the next because the scary thing is when you think about what makes your house safe and what FEMA said what makes your house safe is a smoke detector in every bedroom of your house. So think about how big your bedroom, how many bedrooms you have in your house. You should have a smoke detector right there. How many living spaces do you have in your house? You should have a smoke detector right there. How many hallways do you have in your house? You should have a smoke detector right there. You should have a smoke detector outside of the kitchen. That hallway leads to the kitchen. Just add that up real quick. If you don't have that many smoke detectors, you don't have a safe home. This is the easiest way to add that safety. Not 1970s safety, but the latest generation of safety. Because it's small, because it's compact, you put it on the wall, you won't even see it. It just blends into the decor, and it's such an easy thing too. All you do is you pull that tab off the back of that battery and tie. That's a 10-year battery.
Yeah.
So as soon as you mount this room, the bedroom, every room in the house is safe for the next 10 years.
Well, and it only takes that one time where you need to replace the battery, you take it out to stop the beeping, and then you forget to put the battery back. You don't have to worry about that for 10 years here. 855-945. This is your opportunity. Be prepared. Peace of mind and safety in your home. $49.99 for a 3-pack today. Now, before we go, I'd love to spend a little more time on that carbon monoxide detector because we do get a lot of questions about that because like you said, you can't smell it, hear it, taste it. So sometimes we don't think about it, but we need to think about it today.
Oh, for sure. It is one of those things